Hey guys, today we're driving the 2022 Lexus NX 450h Plus. This has 36 miles of electric-only driving range, and then it just turns into a plug-in hybrid. It's very similar to the RAV4 Prime, same powertrain, 302 horsepower, so pretty powerful and pretty practical to use as an everyday vehicle. This is my first time in the Lexus NX. I've literally only spent a few minutes in it, so I'm going to give you guys some first impressions of what this thing is like inside and out. This is Lexus's all-new infotainment. Gone is the touchpad, the little mouse. We just have an exclusive touchscreen here. And on first impressions, it seems reasonably responsive. I'm a little bit thrown off by the lack of a home button, but it seems like everything is organized pretty well. You've got your navigation, music, phone, and then all of your vehicle settings right here. You can go in and change driving assistance settings, all of your trip information. Everything is organized nicely here with this little side menu just to make your selections. This has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can manage all your devices in your settings. It has Wi-Fi, a hotspot, also vehicle customization. You can change your light settings, door settings, illumination, everything. Head-up display. And speaking of the head-up display, there's a very interesting situation here with the steering wheel controls and the head-up display. These buttons change their function depending on what you want to do with them. So these buttons on the steering wheel are touch sensitive, even though they are also physical buttons, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. And if you want to change their function, you just tap on them and you can have them change the center display on your digital gauge cluster or set your cruise control settings, and you can see what button it is functioning as and what you're pressing via the head-up display, which is very sharp and high res and quite nice to look at. And same with this left side. You can see this changes your track selection, your audio mode, your volume controls right here. And it's nice because the head-up display shows you what you're pressing on. You don't necessarily have to look down to see what you need to make your selections with. So basically you get double the functionality with these buttons. I'm sure there's a bit of a learning curve to this. I'm sure it will take some time to get used to it, but upon first impression, it seems like once you kind of familiarize yourself with these controls, you will be okay. We have a very similar climate control knob to what the Mach-E has on its screen as a volume knob. It looks like this is basically just a rotating dial on a touchscreen, though it is nice that these are not touch controls for the climate control. Looks like climate is pretty much all on this bottom section of the screen, no matter what menu you are in, which is nice. At least it doesn't go away and hide for you. Your drive mode selection knob is right here. You have a Sport or Sport Plus, a normal, a custom, and eco drive modes. And since this is a plug-in hybrid, you can also make this exclusively an EV if you have enough battery capacity or battery charge, and you can also hold to charge the battery with the engine. You'll hear the engine kick on here. We'll leave that off though for now. We'll put it in EV mode. We also have a electronic door handle, so it'll electronically pop open the door. If that for some reason breaks, I can't see that happening because this is a Lexus. You do have a manual door opening. You hit it twice and that'll open the door too. Kind of cool. 3 memory seat settings. Your head-up display controls are right here, or you can go deep into a menu and control them, but it is nice to be able to raise and lower the height. I don't know if there's a brightness control in the head-up display. You probably have to go into the menu for that in the infotainment. Let's walk you around this NX, show you what it looks like on the outside. It's actually a pretty good looking car. Seems a little bit lower and sleeker than the RAV4 Prime. This does still have some off-road driving modes, but I'm not sure it quite has the ground clearance for off-road driving. We have pretty large 20-inch wheels. A nice, tight-looking crossover. Good design. I like this Lexus badge on the back, elongated all the way across the rear hatch. The NX 450h is all-wheel drive. We've got some charging cables, general accessories down here. You've got your cargo cover. And look at this accessory on these back seats for loading some heavier cargo in. You've got a little bit of a back seat protector, which is nice. A lot of space in this NX. Same story with the back doors. You get an electronic door handle, which has a button on the inside of the outer handle and a button on the inside to open it up. This is a pre-production car too, so a few things may change between this and the production units. Pretty nice back seat, spacious, comfortable, smells good. All right, let's take this thing for a drive and see what it's like on the road. The electronic door handles are a little bit strange to get used to, but you do kind of recalibrate your brain to them after a minute. We have some nice storage here we've got wireless charging for your phone. It's kind of a plasticky surround, but in the middle you have a nice grippy Qi charge wireless charging unit. A little bit of storage space under there. Nice glove box. I'm not super impressed with some of the materials in this new NX. A lot of gloss black plastics. The buttons and knobs feel a little bit cheaper than the last generation. I'm not sold on these touch controls, though the steering wheel leather is very nice and the seats are very comfortable, and a lot of your touch points and armrests are soft and have a very nice leather feel to them. Here's what the reverse and 360 camera looks like. Nice and high resolution. Shows you a really nice view around you. We've got a couple miles of range on full battery here, so we'll see how this feels without the engine kicking in. Power seems very similar to the RAV4 Prime on electric power only. Of course, when you combine the gasoline engine, you get that full 302 horsepower. This was not charged when I got it, so we might have a very brief drive in this with EV power only. Brake pedal feels nice. Stiff, progressive. We have a good amount of acceleration here. It's nice that we can raise up the head-up display with the press of a button. Very quiet at speed. Let's put us into... I think we're in hybrid mode right now. There we go. Engine's kicking in. Nice power level. I have great visibility. Love these mirrors. I can see well out of the back window. Very little wind noise. The engine's quite quiet too. You can barely hear it on. We even get paddle shifters. Let's see what sport mode does. Really nice handling, sharp front end. Let's do a quick 0 to 60 here while we've got some open road. Love the brake pedal feel. Really nice. Awesome power here, you guys. I don't think it quite comes on as strong as the RAV4 Prime, but it is very smooth. It's maybe not as jerky, not as immediate, which I actually kind of prefer. More comfortable, more Lexus-like. From behind the wheel, first driving impressions. This is a really nice crossover. The handling is very well tuned. These are pretty smooth roads, so I can't comment too much on ride quality. We'll see what it's like over these railroad tracks. But a lot better calibrated suspension tuning than the RAV4 Prime, which tends to wallow around a bit too much. I love the linearity of this powertrain. That 2.5 liter 4-cylinder does get a little bit loud when you get into it, but for the most part, chances are you're going to be driving this car in pure EV mode if you charge it up every night. 36 miles of electric-only driving range will get you pretty far for most people's commutes and daily use. You know, this is kind of the ideal middle ground, the do-everything car these days. You have the packaging of a crossover, a good amount of range from electric-only driving, though you can get into this and drive it hundreds of miles on a road trip but not having to charge up every couple hundred miles. You could probably use this as an EV in pure EV mode for 90% of your local commuting and local driving. I definitely prefer the way this NX drives to the RAV4 Prime. Some of the user interface stuff is a little bit more complicated, but I think you would get used to it after some time. This new infotainment is nice. The screen's a little bit more responsive than previous Lexus infotainments. Integration of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as wireless is really nice too. We have a pretty brief drive route today, so we can't test everything on this car, but we'll get some more time in it later this month. On first impressions, though, I really like the way this handles. Ride might be a little bit firmer than I was expecting. But it's quiet over bumps, even though it has 20-inch wheels. A little bit of wheel spin from the front tires there. Let's give it one more acceleration up this hill. Those are definitely eco tires, squealing away. And 60 miles an hour happens in no time. Alright guys, so what do we think about the new NX? This might be the NX to get if you can get your hands on one. There's probably going to be pretty limited production with this NX 450h Plus. I really like the driving experience behind the wheel. I'm not as impressed with the interior and materials chosen in this NX. I feel like Lexus has done better in the past, though I'm seeing some similarities between this and the LS with some of these finishes. A lot of the gloss black plastic may not age well. The feel of the buttons isn't the best in here, but the driving experience really delivers. And this new touchscreen is just, it's a television. It's massive. I haven't spent time to get Apple CarPlay wirelessly connected, but I'm sure that works fine. And we'll do a sound system test once we get some more time in this later on in the year. So all of that said, if you can get your hands on one of these and you want a slightly nicer RAV4 Prime that's been Lexusified and has sportier driving dynamics, this is a really good way to go. This is still only the Lexus NX. We don't have the materials and touch points and the feel of some of the higher trim models in this Lexus, so that's okay. It's to be expected. This is a bit of a pleasant surprise from Lexus. I wasn't quite sure how they would tune and calibrate this car from behind the wheel, and I think they've done a pretty nice job. All right, guys, well, there's your first impressions in the new NX 450h Plus. Glad to get some time in this at the Mama Rally this year. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Have to switch it back and forth. Yeah, this one's. Oh, it is.